I'm running a slight bit late, so I'm going to put another screen up which is just the chart, and it won't have me on there, so I can finish eating my breakfast and then I'll be with you shortly. I just realised my microphone was muted. So I will be trading only on the chart for this first week. Reason being is that I haven't traded physically for a few months, nor have I traded at this time of the day for many months. So it's good for us to get acclimatised and ready, and then from next week onwards I'll be taking my trades live and I will be displaying them all for you and showing my lot size and everything like that. But this first week I'm just going to slowly analyse. I'll probably put trades on the chart, however I won't be taking them. Again, just simply because I've got to acclimatise and get used to the markets at this time in the morning, because they do move differently compared to the time I normally see it, which is around 4 to 5 in the evening, where currently it's 11 in the morning. So, let's get started. We will very quickly just start with running through some pairs, see what is going on, see if there's anything interesting. There's like a nice break retest, and it seems to have retested again on gold, so you could see it start to push up. We'll check out the 15-minute as well. Yeah. So with gold, I'd actually almost immediately be expecting something like this, with a target at least up here, if not further. Now it'd be nice if we could get a little bit of a pullback and catch it somewhere here. I'll leave it marked. We'll see what happens over the next 2 hours, because my intention is that we'll be live for around 2 hours today. We'll go on to GBP CAD. Let's see what happened. GBP CAD overnight came and hit my line, and it's currently working down. In fact, that was almost pinpoint precise. Okay, seems relatively normal. Nice gap at open. Gap was filled just about. Yep. Gap was filled, it came up, retested up here, and is now pushing down. Nothing overly interesting to worry about. GJ might have something going on. Yep. So GJ, I'd actually be looking at a short. I would be looking like this. I'm just going to mark up where we would have trades as well. Now, I probably wouldn't even take all of, when it comes to next week, I probably won't be taking all of them, but I'll definitely be taking some of them. I'm just very quickly running through, seeing what I would probably grab, and then we can at least analyse it for the first week, so we can see what pairs tend to move in the patterns I'm expecting, based off of when I normally trade, and what pairs don't move in the same way. So this first week is very much a case of understanding how everything moves, and then from next week we'll take it. So if I just mark things up this week, then we can see what's moving with and against us, and we can go from there. You had a nice break, retest and go. Fought against that, it's currently still sitting in that sort of range. Doesn't seem anything overly interesting yet. Looks better on the 15-minute where it's nice clean. If someone wanted to take something, it would look like this. Pushing back into this range. If anyone can't see the range, I'll highlight it now. By range, I mean this section right here. You see that it just seems to play around, especially through this area. So there isn't anything really to do on Audio SD. This one I can redraw my fib. And yeah, so when I'm trading, I often draw Fibonacci, but I don't draw it in the conventional ways. In this case, I'd be drawing it from 1.1 to 1.2, because I find that drawing it between round numbers like so gives better results based off the data I've taken. You're probably going to come and fill that gap. I'm going to set this up a little bit higher. So I'm going to set this to the 45 minute. Yeah, so my expectation for this is that you would see it come and fill that gap. But it's impossible to take because it's such a small trade. It's not worth the time. However, we will see if it does come and fill this gap. If it does, I'd expect it to always come down here. At which point it might once, twice, or you might also see it go once, twice. But we'll see what it does when it gets there. We've got a couple of hours to watch it. But we will see if it does come there. That's particularly ugly to look at. Interesting market opened right at a level, bounced and just started moving. Now it's pulling back. Doesn't seem to be anything interesting there. That open, doink, and move. Next target is up here. Is there any recent price action? Yes. Get rid of that away. I guess with this, you are in a interesting level because you've got all of this action through here, and through here. Not to mention you are at the top of that, so we'll just sit and leave that for now, just in case it wants to respect some of it. I could, in theory, draw another fib. Sorry for yawning, I've only just woken up. Like that, and we do line up with one of the lines, so you are at risk of a reversal. However, it's a much weaker one than our larger timescale one. NAS, I'm going to draw from 10,000 to 11,000. Yeah. I'm going to draw the second one as well, seeing as we're near enough for its turnover point. Maybe we'd have to go like that to 12. So we've just had a breakthrough. We'll see if it comes and retests, at which point we might have an interesting trade on our hands. Because that's quite a large amount of pips in theory. It's 234. But that should be more than enough for most people. Is that? Break, retest, and go. Doesn't seem to be doing anything overly interesting. Got to kind of wait for it to get to a level. Ah, hello. You've been playing around. If we're looking for a position, it should, in theory, probably be this direction. So my stop loss sort of like that. Where's my next level? My next level is all the way up here. However, we can see that there's a good amount of price action here, so that's probably a good place to take some profit, if not here for a first. So we'll mark it all up nicely. I'm going to mark that because I want to see how they all respect and get handled if it does continue upwards. This would probably be where I'd take 50% off. Then I'd let it ride, see how it respects these levels, and if I decide like based off of consolidation, like where price, rather than it moving up nice and smoothly, if it starts to sort of round off at the top, then I would probably be looking at taking. If we just continue up through it, then that's fine. That's not moving enough to give us anything of interest. Probably see it go 1, 2, but we're not quite ready yet. Odd ends of D, that's normally a good pair to look at on the daily more than the hourly. A good level of support and resistance. Just mark it up quickly so you can all see it. Although it looks like we want to break through it. Maybe not. You'll probably get a trade in a minute. Not quite yet, but close to. I will draw my normal fibs. We're going to go from 1 to 1.1. No, we're not. We're going from 1.1 to 1.2. But there's nothing overly interesting. We're just going to see what it does with that, because that's really going to be the driving factor. If I'm to mark anything on a chart, I would probably mark up the idea of a retest of the levels, or I'd probably mark it up like that. However, I definitely wouldn't be taking it, because I only really take trades from my key areas. Let's move from 8 to 9. Nice break, retest, and straight to the bottom. Did almost fill that gap, almost, very close. They then came almost all the way back down. I would expect a very short, almost scalp position like that. I'll watch it, but I don't think it's going to hold at this time of the day. It's very, we're on Euro NZD, we'll very quickly check on these. So it's not holding, that's fine. That is holding. Okay. Interesting. Even got another chance to go and grab it. Nice, good. So GJ would have been okay. In fact, that's almost 1-to-1 already. 34 versus 30, yes, just over 1-to-1. You You're just coming to retest that line. I should have marked it. That's fine. Nothing there. Yep, that's continuing to push down. Probably go and fill the gap. It's fine. It's fine. You're now pushed all the way down here, so now's the key point. That should be marked. You're not holding yet, but you're still fine. Okay, so that did not want to go and do that. That's fine, because I said it was the riskiest plays anyway. So we'll just... I said it was the riskiest of plays. What do we want it to do then? I still have a feeling it'll come down. Probably just going to sit and respect some of this area first, because it highlights itself all the way through here. But we'll just let it sit and wait. I'm not going to force anything. Do I put on alerts to remember where you expect trades? No, because I'm going to be sitting here for the next 2 hours. I just take the trades that come up as and when I'm here. I'm not, because everything is time-based, and you'll find that markets move differently in different sessions. I don't tend to worry about how things move when I'm not here. It's very much a case of you have to know the hours you trade, and for me this is why this week I'm not placing physically, because I don't know these hours. However, it's the best time of the day for me to live stream. So I'm very much spending this week learning how markets move a bit, and then next week I'll start placing. So I probably wouldn't put alerts on, although in theory I could take them this afternoon when I'm more used to it, at sort of 4 to 5 PM in the afternoon my time. I would rather just take the trades as and when I see them, and for me that's now, because I'm going to be trading from 11 till sort of 1 in the afternoon. We're just going to very, very quickly put my normal fib on this. So 7 to 8. 1.7 to 1.8. Came up, retested, broke through but didn't hold. Just a little fake out. That's most likely going to come back down to this level. We'll probably see it over the next hour or two. There's nothing really holding it, so it should just be a nice clean fall for sort of 30 pips, which then goes and gives us negative correlation against that, because Euro NZD should do, no, it's positive correlation because they should do the same. I thought it was the other way around. Okay, that's fine. This one, I need to mark up the next level. Yeah. This one now goes from 8 to 9. 8 to 1.9. Not that I really doing much at the moment. You're currently sitting right around this support, right around here. So it's probably just going to sit there for most of the morning. This one needs to be drawn from 80 to 90. It's just sitting there, nothing interesting. Just looking at the lack of volatility, could go like 82 to 83. How does that look? Okay. Just because it doesn't move so much, I think I can probably get away with a 3, 2, 4, making them much tighter and going based off one decimal place less of volatility, which seems to give actually better levels. So we'll find that this is now pushing. So hopefully, if we can get a nice break and retest of 83,214 and then catch up to the next one. How many pips is that? It's only 15 pips though, it's not really worth it. I'd rather catch a bigger move, but we'll leave it on there for scalping. Was NAS 100 was 234 pips. Where was it 234 pips to? From one level to the next, so if that's not NAS, that's NAS. NAS, we were looking at a break and retest from the bottom, which looks pretty good. Which is, yeah, 234, 240, somewhere in there. Depends how accurate I'm drawing my lines. So the idea for NAS would be a long position, catch it as low as possible, probably get a wick thrown down there at some point, where it would be like this. And that would be the general idea of what we're looking for. I might leave it marked, but BTC, you're looking a bit messy. Let's go up a couple of time frames, see if it becomes clearer. I'm just going to leave that alone, it doesn't seem to be happy. You need a fib drawn. How am I going to draw it on this? (12 to 13, 13 to 14. Kind of looks to me like it's forming a bit of an M. 1, 2, 3, 4. As long as it can break the neckline. I'm just going to leave that on there for now because it could do something like that. US 30. I'll draw 30 to 40 then. It's much nicer. And then I'll draw 20 to 30. Whoops, not 3,000, 30,000. And then I'll come back down the time frame. I mean, it's going to try and push above it, but if you might find that there's the potential to end up shorting it again. I'll mark up a short, but it's a very, very risky play. But if it does pay off, it will come all the way actually. There's a take profit point there. Mark that one as well in theory. And that would be huge at 2,000 pips, or 20,000 on some brokers, because some brokers use decimal places. And there's no news until this afternoon, so it'd be a case of sit and wait for what that wants to do. Right, let's have a quick look through some of the trades we were looking at. Seems to be pushing okay. Is there anything of interest here? No, it seems to be respecting what we were looking at. Also the same. This one came and rejected off that level, so we should be fine. This one is just playing around, didn't actually come down as far as I thought it would. If that candle stays bearish though, then the next one might. This one seems to be holding with what in line with what we suggested. And then the only other trade is this. I'm going to quickly keep an eye on this just to see if it's continuing to move. Yes, it is. Okay. So I go like that. Does anyone have any questions? If so, then I'm happy to help answer or to help look at some questions. When does the indicator play in? So the indicators play in for when I'm riding trends. So the baseline overlay I will use when riding mostly. So it gives me my generalized trend direction and will help me trail it out a bit better. Often I'll use the Tima ribbon as my stop loss guide so that I can be quite aggressive with my stop. You'll see here like so as an example, if I'm placing somewhere here, which is when everything else lines up, if I'm placing on this candle for example, I can set my stop loss here and it will trail it down nice and aggressively, but then also pull me out very, in this case a little early, but also you can see that this is where the consolidation had really started, so to pull me out here is not a bad thing, but it gives me a generalized trend idea. Then with the LMI and BACD, you can see that I am pretty much in line with when they change colour. It's just a sort of preference thing. It's much easier to do it when they change colour. And the same with my candles going from black to white. It's very much a signal of a change of direction in trend, and I'm trying to be when they change as much as possible. I will also sometimes use it as escape signals. Sometimes it's much better to use things as escape signals. Examples being, say price comes like this a little bit. If we start doing this and a candle goes white, then that could also be a good reason to exit. Just in, so if I draw a Tima ribbon, say my Tima ribbon is sitting like this, but we've got white candles forming, then that would be another good reason to escape. And then With BACD and LMI, I use it mostly just to watch for the start of a trend. During a trend, they can be a little hyperactive, so I'm not necessarily so worried about if they change while I'm running, because I'll use baseline overlay as my guide when it's running. So this has broken the teamer, but it's based off a higher time frame trend, because this is the one where I set it to the 15-minute chart, but this on the 45, so we're not probably broken through yet. No, we're still above it, though it does give cause concern. So LMI is default, I think, from memory, and then I just set the other three plots off, that to dots, and I just set it to the largest possible thickness, just so that I can then compress it and use it as a bar. BACD is set to area because it makes it easier to look at, and 31 to 28, which I think is standard, although standard might be 15 to 28 actually, but that should be near enough the same anyway. And then baseline overlay is completely standard. When I'm on a 5-minute chart, I'll use a 15-minute teamer ribbon. When I'm on a 15-minute chart, I use a 45-minute teamer ribbon. If you need to add the 45-minute teamer ribbon, you have to add a 45-minute chart, and then it will let you. So you just come into here, add your chart, which you can see I have a 45 and a few other strange increments in hours. It's just simply so that I can then add them for this when I want it. Now this appears to be coming down again, but it could just be getting the entry that we suggested earlier. We're still above the teamer ribbon. Still doing what we kind of expect. This we were waiting for it to come up anyway. Still playing around. I'm gonna quickly grab some juice. I'll be back in 1 moment. God seems to be trying to push again now. You're pulling back up. That's not overly a surprise. Maybe it'll come up to the teamer ribbon, or it might just sit around here where you have previous things of interest. It shouldn't be an issue. That seems to be pushing down. It gave a nice retester there. It's fine. Seems to be pushing up. It's fine. This we're just waiting on. Any news that's come out? Let's just give this a quick refresh. Nothing. Okie dokie. Do people have any questions, or are we just going to sit and keep watching and analysing charts the next hour? just coming up to 1 to 1. Okay. How many pips is that? Reasonable. Yeah, that's just coming up to 1 to 1. When is it my normal time for trading? About between 4 and 6 in the afternoon. So yeah, I'm very much early today, but I intend on moving towards this time of the day because it's the time of the day where I can sit and live stream with no real issue. Although I do have to get used to waking up at this time of the day because normally I'd be asleep until 2 in the afternoon because I don't tend to sleep until about 3 AM. Yeah, so what would I be doing right now? Sleeping. But I need to fix my sleep schedule anyway, so this gives me a good cause and reason for it. When do I start preparing the charts? When I sat down and checked, drew fibs as and when needed. There was a couple where I needed to draw them on, but most of them, because of the time frame I'm drawing these fibs on, they hold for a very, very long time. And to make sure of it, I even set my fibs to extend left and right anyway, so that they're infinitely long, so that I really can just draw them once and just leave it until that eventually one day it will no longer be relevant, but like they'll last a long time, and that saves me having to do a lot of work. So just set it to extend and be done with it. You can always delete it later. So these fibs, for instance, that I've drawn, some of the ones I've drawn today, I probably won't end up ever deleting them, or if I do, it might be like a month or two's time, because that's how long they tend to hold for. It came and retested that, kind of suggested it might. Still just sitting around, you're pushing off. God, it hit perfectly on the line we suggested, so it did come and retest exactly. In fact, that should be almost 1 to 1. In fact, it's over 1 to 1, the wick is at 1.6. Okay, so that's fine. You're probably 1 to 1 as well. Let's just grab you all the way. Yeah, the top of the wick is at 1.09. So we've hit 1 to 1s, that's fine. Seems to be continuing to push a little bit more. You should start falling again, hopefully. We had 1 to 1 on it already though. You look like you're probably going to do that. Yeah, it's fine to me. Here's to Henry, this is a good example of what I meant, by the way. See how my candle stayed white and my Tima ribbon I stayed below it, but at LM I had one candle where it went green. This is where it's a good example of why I use the baseline more for the holding as opposed to just entering. Like in theory, this candle here is a re-entry if I wish, so I could have taken it now, but there's less of a need to because I'd already entered and I can just hold. That's fine. We'll see if there's anything else coming up. Nope. Missed that one. Still down at this point. Wait to see if it breaks because it might go and fill the gap. It's just sitting there. We kind of expected this just to keep pushing a bit more, and it kind of is. You broke up a little, but nothing overly untoward. You're still pushing towards this level. Still range bound. Nothing interesting. This is still working its way down. It's probably going to take a while though. And maybe the option for a very small scalp, just to grab it like that, but it's not really a good risk reward. That looks nice. This would be my idea, but again the risk reward is too small, so it's not worth it. I mean, some people will take one like the 1.8 max trades, but it's not really worth it. Like if I'm looking for a trade, it's probably over 3.5 as a minimum for a max. That's suggesting it's going to want to come up further, but I'm still not going to take it. So my idea here would be that we're going 1, 2, 3, probably to that level. This is still just working in that M that I drew on the 15-minute. So it seems that these are the pairs that we should be most focused on today. Be interesting to see if these are the pairs to focus on every day, but it's doing its thing still. Yeah. This we've still got to wait for it to come up, but it seems to be moving. We are 1.4 in on that one. We are peak of 1.5 on that one. This one's just coming back to break even. This one we are... Oh, we've already hit 2 on that one. 2 to 1. That one I'm just going to measure because it's quicker. So we offered an 8.9 pip stop and we peaked at just over 10. And then this we're still waiting on. So every trade minus Euro, was it Euro that was the one that's waiting still? Every trade other than Euro has hit 1-to-1 at least, so it should be a good day. I'm just going to wait on Euro and we should be there. If anyone has any questions, let me know and I will answer them. If anyone has any charts they want me to analyse, let me know. Obviously I've got a small list on front of us, but it's hardly an extensive and exhaustive list. Let's just check the news again. Space ends. Extra 10 billion, extra tax collection. It's not really going to be anything relevant. Okay, let's now break even. Good. That's continuing. Now's the fun part. Now we wait. Depending on how long it takes, I might end up going and grabbing some cake because I did do some baking over the weekend. What are we sitting at now? 1.65 still. Okay, make that 1.7 probably. Yeah. Just fine. Hey, into profit again. Fine. It's turning back a little bit more than I would expect. I guess it's going to retest somewhere here. That's starting to get up to where we're looking for our entry. Be interesting to see how it behaves towards the line. Looks like a good start. Just throwing a wick. I do my Fibonacci level? Sure. So the Fibonacci level is always between round numbers. So on gold, for instance, it goes from 1600 to 1700, and then I drew another one from 17 to 18. For something like GJ, I draw it from 160 to 170. For a normal Forex pair, I draw from 1.5 to 1.6, so on and so forth. And then for NAS, it's 10,000 to 11,000, and then 11,000 to 12,000. I've drawn US 30, I draw in 10,000 increments, so 30,000 to 40,000, and 20,000 to 30,000. What is my take on GU? GU, where is it? Is it not on my list? I thought it was earlier. Okay, it's there. I'm being blind. GU, I'm currently sitting around and waiting on. I would be inclined to suggest it's a short more than a long. Indicators are bearish. That looks to be somewhat more bearish than bullish, so I'd probably say if I'm in a position it's going to look probably like this. However, because we're in the middle of nowhere, I wouldn't be taking a fresh entry if I was in one, like if I was looking. So although that is plausible at least, I wouldn't take it. I might leave it marked just so we have reference. So I said it when we were here. I'd set my stop loss just above the T and set my take profit on the line. And I'm going to mark this one in purple because it was not mine. There you go. And we'll just sit and track it. Seems to be pushing off again. Gold's retraced a little. You're just playing around. NASA's hit that and pulled back. Kind of expected. You are pulling back consistently on AutoCAD. I do, however, expect it to be more of a 1, 2, like that. That would be my expectation anyway. This, we're just still sitting and waiting to see if we can get that nice entry. If anyone else has any things they want me to analyse, do let me know. Otherwise we're just going to sit around and wait. And in maybe 15 minutes I'll look through all the other pairs again. See if there was anything interesting happen. I'll even open my curtains. If that puts too much light and I become a silhouette, let me know and I'll shut them again. But it's nice to have some sunlight. For reference, for people who don't get to enjoy other parts of the world, currently in Dubai it's a nice warm day. It looks like it's probably around 30-35 degrees. Slightly hazy. I can see all the way to Dubai Creek, however the buildings are a slight bit hazy. Other than that, it's a pretty clear day. Now actually going to look at what the weather is, just so I can see if my temperature guess was right. Yeah, it's 35 degrees with a humidity of 46%. And moderate visibility. So yeah, that was pretty correct. Why have I got the pen tool? There we go. This is probably just going to retest somewhere here, I imagine. 1, 2, 3. It's continuing to play ball. Still waiting on an entry for that. GU. I'll shove you up there. Running. If anyone else has anything, do let me know and I'll take a quick look, see if there's anything we can do, see if there's any points you want to learn from. Learning is the best thing you can do while you're here. Can I draw it on NAS 100? Sure. So NAS 100, my fib, goes from 10,000 to 11,000, and then 11,000 to 12,000. So there's two of them. You have 1 and then 2. It's nice to know that have passed the phase 2 FTMO already. We're just looking to see if we can get the whole phase 1 today. Because we're about 5%. It'd be nice if we can get the whole 10 in one go. How many percent is this at max? 17. Let's just see. If I was to take maximals into account, which is a terrible way of doing it, but it's 1.79. Oh, my God, it's 1.8 because I'm lazy. Peak was 1.5. Round down. Plus 1.5. This one's only just doing its thing. So at maximals we would have had 7.3%, which no one trades maximals, so it's irrelevant, but it gives us a guide of what we can have done so far, so we'd probably have secured a little bit. If you were securing at 1%, we would have had 5. No, if we were securing at 1%, the whole lot, we'd have had 1, 2, 3, 4. You'd have had 4. Everything seems to be moving normally, nothing untoward or interesting happening. I'll show you what you've got. So your fib, you'll want to draw it with these settings because you have all your extensions on there and I don't. Does that help, Henry? And then coordinates wise, 10, 11. I'll just put that over there for a minute. Most welcome. Let's just have another look. We'll drop down a few time frames, that's fine. Pull back a little, pushing off again. That's fine. We put it back up again. Interesting. Still following what we suggested. Put it back. Still kind of following what we suggested. Don't know if this is actually going to get to our entry again, but nothing interesting. Hey, it broke. Should go and fill this gap then. Still pushing. Nothing. No. Still working. I found support. Interesting. Worked up. Pulled it down. I don't actually like it. Interesting. Lined up and made the W almost. Yeah, okay, I understand. This is still within what we expected. It's rolling over by the looks of it. Stop loss. Still within what we expected. Interesting. It's gone too far. The end of this candle, we may close that. It's still not pulled up here. One's okay, I guess. I don't know, weren't interested in anyway, because that's what we placed in purple. What are you doing? Not that one, this one. 3 minute. 3 minute looks like it's pulling back. Is there anything yet? No. Okie dokie. Let's just quickly run through 3 minute. Fibonacci under the coordinates, you have the price, and in this case 10,000 to 11,000. Oh, okay, I know what you mean. So these are the coordinates in terms of price. These are the coordinates in terms of when it was historically or futurely. So that was 1900 bars ago to 845 bars ago. That's what it is. It's where it is that way, not this way. So if I zoom out on the chart, you'll see that it's all the way over here because it was placed a long time ago. The other example will be if I go grab this fib quickly, what I can do is actually just set it to 0, 0, and you'll see that it becomes a straight line there. Or if I set it to like 300, you'll see that it just changes what candles it's measuring from in time, essentially. Like when historically is, that's plus 300 and that's 0. It doesn't mean anything really. Right, I'm going to go grab some cake from the fridge. I'm gonna very quickly put it to scene 2 where you can't see me while I eat. There's a hefty push down. Something happened? No? I mean, it's retesting this level. GJ pushing down. You might go and hit stop loss, that's fine. Damn, you're tanking as well. You're also pushing down. This is just sitting. Pushing. It's the interesting thing to note is the things that are moving down. What we could find, no, it's the wrong time of the day for that. Also to Euro order sitting on a daily pivot. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Comes dead in line with my 382. I'll probably sit and float around there then. Although it does keep rejecting it. That pullback is a bit severe, although there was no wick, so the next candle will be 50-50. You're doing fine. I'm interested to see if the next couple of candles on this one, if it starts pushing down again or not. This one is within this range, it's just doing fine. This one is sitting down here, again, nothing out of uninspection. GU's finally looking to break. This also looks shortable. Nice tight stop loss. This is similar to the one we covered earlier. Really, you want your entry sort of here. You can grab an entry at that price, it'd be okay. Market orange. Again, but your entry should really be up here. So I won't mark it. This looks like it will finally go and fill the gap. Unless that did. Not quite. So for this, your position should be somewhat like that. I mean, you could probably even run it all the way down here. You're in a nice position. Take like that, run to, well, here originally, but all the way down. We'll set the goal here, probably here, and 1-to-1 as always. I've been playing with Forex a long time now, When I first started, and this is 2018, in 2018 I started very much like most people. I started by joining a signal service, but then I very quickly realised that they lost every day of the week except Friday, so I counter traded them every day of the week except Fridays. And then after about 3 months, because I was gloating in their group chat that, hey, I was making profit from the signals, all you had to do was counter trade them 4 out of 5 days a week, they then kicked me out, and I was like, oh. So I went from being profitable to having to teach myself overnight, and in 2018 there wasn't really a good amount of content out there. So lots of what I did was trial and error and self-taught. I'm quite lucky that I had friends within trading that I sort of grow to know. This is just around when I first sort of had contact with Ronnie and Jude in our group, who are two of the other admins. And I would bounce ideas off them and stuff like that. But most of the learning I did was self-taught through trial and error. I spent about 6 months losing 100 to 200 GBP a week, just trying to teach myself bit by bit. And considering at the time I only earned about 1,500 GBP a month, it was an expensive and painful journey. But once those 6 months of me consistently losing, once I eventually sort of learnt enough, I mean, okay, parts of it I would be like 3-4 weeks before I would lose it, parts of it I'd get to like a full month, but on average it was probably every week I was spending 100 to 200 GBP just in losses. So it'd be like top up account, lose, top up account, lose, top up account, lose for like 6 months. And then by the end of the 6 months I was probably just able to not so much keep making profit consistently, but I was at least break even consistently. And then maybe another few months after that I would be making a little bit, so it would be like, if this is break even, I'd be like making a little bit, and then a few months after that be making a bit more, and it became a more consistent thing over time. But I would say it probably took me 6 months to the point of me just being consistently break even originally, and then maybe another 3 to 6 months before I was consistently making a small percentage of profit, and then it's grown since then. Okay, you decided to leave. You also decided to leave. You're pulling up, you're pulling up, you're waiting around, you're melting. I will say that there's a few books I read. I read Naked Forex, didn't find it useful at all. I read... there's 2 Elliott Wave books I read. I can dig the names out for you somewhere. And then most recently, because I still read new books, where is it? I read this one recently. You might find it useful. It's called The Complete Turtle Trader by Michael Covell. But I would suggest that the best things I've learned are actually psychology. So if you were to look at like the books that I read most at the moment, some of the best things that I've read for trading over the last sort of 6 months are How Life Imitates Chess by Gary Kasparov, 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson, and then Beyond Order by Jordan Peterson. because once you get to a point where you kind of understand enough and you know enough that you can go and be profitable, however you don't have the right psychology yet. So it's important to read your psychology books and your life strategy books, like the How Life Imitates Chess, more than it becomes to read actual trading books. So that's what I will say. That's why I tend to read more psychology. I'll quickly try and dig out the names of the Elliott Wave books. So one was called Elliott Wave Principle by Robert Ballon, and the other one is Elliott Wave Principle Key to Market Behavior by Frost and Precher. I think from memory it's the Frost and Precher one that's better. 256 pages. Yeah, it's the Frost and Precher one that's the better one, but it's like 256 pages. This one. Yeah, AJ Frost and Robert Precher. No, sir. I decided to change myself to just my actual name, so in the Discord you'll see me as Taylor Bright. Yeah. Yeah, I decided to get rid of the wizard alias and just be me, if that makes sense. That's fine. It's fine. Is that 2%? Is that 2? Yeah, 2.3. That's fine. God, you almost went in here, take profit. 2.7. Sunk quite heavily. So we're coming up to like the last 20 minutes or so that I will be live. I might go a little bit longer. If anyone has any questions, do fire them my way and then I'll try and answer them. Otherwise, we'll just continue enjoying markets for the day. Most things hit at least 1% profit, so we should be okay. Again, this first week is all about learning the markets at this time of the day because I'm not normally awake. Jeremy Hunt is talking. Well, I wish he wouldn't. It'd be better for all of us. But then again, you could say that about most of the British government, let's be real. Does Jeremy Hunt have anything interesting to say? Probably not. Let's not hit Forex Factory yet. accepted. Doesn't seem anything major yet. Okay, it's pushed up quite significantly. We'll just see what happens. Nothing interesting yet. This may get to its short for New York session then. Yeah, that one stopped out. Didn't even think it hit 1-to-1, did it? No, it did. Okay, that's fine. We hit 1. Looks like it's trying to push it down. Seems fine. Seems fine. That's a move going. Yeah, I don't see anything like to be a major issue yet. That's probably not going to have a major. Seems okay. Yeah. You might find that actually rounds off and pulls back because the size of the candle is decreasing. We'll have to keep an eye on how this candle forms. The fact that that is wedging, by wedging I mean doing this. I'd actually want to draw it like that and ignore the large wick, but that's not a great way to do it. But the fact it's wedging is a sign you might get a breakout soon. I'm going to leave it drawn like that and ignore the wick. Seems fine. Might actually get a buy signal. Yeah, that's probably okay. Providing this stays bearish. No. Yeah. Let's have a quick look through for other things. Audio SD, that looks pretty buying. But I wouldn't really want to take a trade there, it's come from nothing. UPCHF. Why did I mark that? I don't know. Oh, it's because it was rounding and looking down, but then he spoke, that's fine. That's fine. Might find resistance here, because you're at all of this price action as well. This is still bearish. Maybe you find resistance here. You seem to be melting a little bit. I mean, it's had a considerable push today, so it's unsurprising if it has a reasonable amount of pullback consolidation. That's just floating around, consolidating. This has not moved all day. That's literally all of the price action for the last few hours. You are quite clearly pushing down, apparently. So we'd expect something like this. Here I'd still be expecting it to push down. It's not actually a good risk to a broad duration trade, but it'd be like that. I'll mark it, see what happens. Up, probably. Seems bullish to me. I actually don't know how I've drawn my fib though, so I'm going to redraw it. 82 to 83 was too tight. So I'm going to stick to 80 to 90, which does mean that we are floating in the middle of the nowhere at the moment, but I'll take that because it just means there's no trade at the moment. Nothing there. That is still following along with what we expected. We drew an M, it's following the M. Yeah, that's just following what we expected. So from here we would be looking for it to come down towards the neckline at least, hopefully more. And there's another quick look at the ones we were looking at. Gold, we can see it trying to move up, although it seems to have found consolidation at the moment where it's just kind of sitting there for a few candles. On GJ we have pushed down and pulled back as he started talking, but seems to just be sitting there now. I'm surprised Forex Factory doesn't have any. Oh, it does now. So this is just sitting here. I imagine it'd probably still go down. Euro AUD seems to finally be making its way into some sort of profit. NAS is kind of doing what we predicted. It just dips down a little lower than I expected. AUD CAD is in profit again. You're still wedging. You ripped, but we hit 1% profit, so we don't care. You pulled back, but are now pushing back down again. I guess it just wanted to retest this area here. I guess that's all it wanted. It's fine. You we just looked at the idea of. I think on this time frame I'd even come more aggressive with my stop loss and bring it down, but maybe even like drop it down to here. Yeah, probably. This one, maybe, and drop it, make it a 1.5 at least. Yeah, that's not bad. This might hit stop loss, but this was the one we were tracking for someone, not for ourselves, so it's fine. Does anyone have any final questions before we call it done for the day? I'm going to give you to the start of the hour for a question, and then we will call it done, because this has been 2 hours. It's been a pretty chill 2 hours, not much has really happened. We called a fair amount of trades, but that's about it. You're welcome. Right, let's call it done then. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. The VOD will obviously be uploaded straight to YouTube. I will rename it. If anyone has any questions or there is a question. Where did the question go? Do you run a win percentage in your head? There are always trades to take, and some more risky than others. Yeah, I would say that I'm probably closer to 3 to 1. Yeah, I always try to be nearer sort of 3 to 1. Other than, so like for me, 1 to 1, I'm like, I don't really want it. I will always take a profit at 1 to 1. like take 50% off at least, but I always want to be like 3 to 1. 3 to 1 is sort of my guide point, because at 3 to 1 you can have a bad win rate and still make money. So yeah, 3 to 1, but always take 50% off at 1 to 1. There's my mental guide on win percentage. Yeah, so thanks for watching, everyone. I will probably change the name of this live, because having it just down as live 17th of the 10th 2022 is pretty blank. This video should be available to watch almost immediately, because it will just get processed by YouTube and be done. Other than that, I think we should be good. So thank you everyone for joining, and have